Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Cheap Comic Collector. Thanks for joining me today. Today, we're going through my personal collection of 1957 comic books. Quite a few of them. But I also got in another letter from the United States Postal Service. Oh boy.
Woo! Waking up fresh, it's a brand new day. Ooh, yeah. Comic books calling, let's go and play. Hey, hey. Cheap comic deals hitting all the spots. Woo-hoo! Flipping through pages, connecting the dots. Woo! Monday's the best, what can I say? Heroes and villains take the blues away. All right. Cheap comic finds, collector's delight. Woo-wee! Bright colors popping, feels so right. Yeah. Comic book Monday, let's get it straight. Cheap comic joy, don't make us wait. Flip those pages, dive in the fun. Hey. Comic book Monday has just begun. Woo! Stacks of issues, they're calling my name. Oh yeah. From Cape Crusaders to that web slinger fame. Hey. Cheap thrills galore, pennies a fine. Comic book Monday, treasure unwind. Woo-hoo! Comic world wonders, can't get enough. Cheap comic hunter, never too tough. All right. Heroes unite in a wild-filled craze. Hey. Comic book Monday, forever amazed. Comic book Monday, let's get it straight. Cheap comic joy, don't make us wait. Flip those pages, dive in the fun. Hey. Comic book Monday has just begun. Woo!
All right. I hope you're having a great Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. And today we are going through, like I said, the books from 1957. We're continuing that series. But first, I got a letter in the mail from the Postal Service. So you guys may recall that the Postal Service stole one of the packages of comics I sent out uh, to one of our friends. And I've gone through a kind of a rigmarole of, of claiming to try and get the insurance money, which doesn't cover what the books were worth or what the guy paid for the books, but it does cover at least my cost of those particular books. Excuse me. And apparently those books are lost forever. The first letter I got back basically denied the claim, saying that it had been delivered, which of course was ridiculous. They're the ones saying it hasn't been delivered. The second, and then you could appeal up to 3 times. So the second appeal, or the first appeal, I forget why exactly. The second appeal said I didn't have proof of the value, which was ridiculous too, because I took a screenshot of the PayPal payment and sent it to him. The only thing was that it didn't meet the letter of the criteria listed, because it didn't have anything on there saying it was for comic books. Like, that should matter when they lost the package, right? And you only have 3 appeals, right? So sent the information again the third time, and this is the same information going in each time, right? And the second denial was very quick. I mean, I had the letter like a week later, like it was sitting on their desk ready to go. And so I got the last one in today, and it says the accompanying check is for payment under the contract numbers. So they did finally pay with a check for $116.08. So they also reimbursed me for the cost of the postage. It's kind of cool. I didn't ask them to do that, but at least they did that. without being told to do it. So this leads me to the conclusion, because I've heard everybody's horror stories of dealing with the post office and not getting their insurance money. And I can see it being much messier if it's because of damage. But this is case they just literally lost, or somebody stole from the post office my package. So the first, I think they do basically the same thing the healthcare system does, where they give you the runaround. They have you file claim after claim after claim after claim until they finally have no choice but to pay it. And that's basically what happened here, right? I got form letters that didn't even make sense based on the information I had sent them. And now the third final appeal, they're just hoping you're going to give up. Same thing with when you're dealing with Medicare and Medicaid. They don't pay your bills. They wait to see if your loved one's going to die or not before they pay your bills. Because if they die, then then it'll come out of their estate and they don't have to pay it. Basically, is what it seems like when you're dealing with it. Because Medicaid, Medicare is the same thing. If you got a whole bunch of hospital bills, if you got a bunch of bills paid up, you got to resubmit them until they'll go ahead and pay them. And so just government bureaucracy trying to cheat the people, but they do eventually do what they're supposed to do if you stick with it. Like I said, it might be a lot messier if there's damage, because you got to try and prove the damage happened and that it's their fault, and not the sender's fault, which is basically impossible. You shouldn't have to prove anything. You bought insurance, it's damaged, it should be paid. That's all there is to it. But anyway, I'm happy I got my check, that's over and done with. One, not a big piece of stress in my life at the moment, but hey, it's a piece of good news in the mailbox. It's better than a bill, right? So happy to get that. Very, very happy. So I'm going to switch over to the other camera. We're going to get started on these comic books from 1957.
Well, I wake up in the morning, throw my boots on the floor. Mirror tells a story I just can't ignore. With a grin and a wink, I'm a heartbreaker for sure. Guess I'm guilty of charm, but who's keeping score? I can't help it if I'm sexy, it's just the way I am. Got this small town swagger, don't need a master plan. From my hat to my buckle, I'm the talk of the land. I can't help it if I'm sexy, it's out of my hands. Down at the diner, all the heads start to turn. The waitress spills coffee, her cheeks start to burn. I tip my hat kindly, don't mean no concern. Just walking through life with a lesson to learn. I can't help it if I'm sexy, it's just the way I am. Got this small town swagger, don't need a master plan. From my hat to my buckle, I'm the talk of the land. I can't help it if I'm sexy, it's out of my hand. It ain't about the clothes or the truck that I drive, it's the way I keep smiling, feeling so alive. A little rugged, a little smooth, that's my vibe. I don't try too hard, it's just how I thrive. I can't help it if I'm sexy, it's just the way I am. Got this small town swagger, don't need a master plan. From my hat to my buckle, I'm the talk of the land. I can't help it if I'm sexy, it's out of my my hands.
All right, bro, here we go. First up, we have the very cool Dell Giant Christmas in Disneyland. Two of my favorite things: comic books, Disneyland, Disney characters, fun stuff. And the Disneyland books, usually the big disappointment for the Disneyland books, as cool as they are, is that the stories normally do not take place in Disneyland. Um, they will have like an Adventureland story, like here you got they're going on the boat ride in Adventureland with Santa Claus, right? So they're going on the Jungle Cruise, and he tells them a Donald Duck story, right? Karl Barks' Donald Duck story, so it's good. And then uh then they just start reading comic books that Santa's left them or had in his pack or something, and so they'll read about Mickey Mouse and Goofy in the old West, because they need a Frontierland story and stuff like that. So it's it's not so much an adventure in Disneyland exactly, and that was a big disappointment to me when I first discovered these. But they're still wonderful. Got great stories in them, and they're very cool. And it's the back cover. It's also very cool. Anywho, let's get it on the list. Christmas in Disneyland. And pretty darn sure there was only one of those, which is a shame, because they had the Christmas parades. But there's a whole series of Disneyland books. Uncle Scrooge Goes to Disneyland, Disneyland Birthday Party, uh, Mickey Mouse in Frontierland. There's quite a few of them. And I'm just going to look on Grand Comics database real quick to make absolutely sure that there's only one of those. And I spelled it wrong. Oh, come on. Oh, Christmas is Disneyland. I spelled that wrong too. Christmas in Disneyland. There we go. Yeah, there was only one issue. So, that's interesting. There is a 30-cent variant. This one's 25 cents, but the one they have pictured on here is the 30 center. So there are two different covers for it. So presumably there's more than one printing. Possibly. funny how it just keeps going, even though you basically close it off. You close the tab, the opening on the studio. I guess as long as your computer's still on and stuff, it just keeps going. For a klutz like me, I guess that's a good thing. So anyway, we had Daffy. This is number 8. I guess he's cleaning the window and the floor at the same time. And there's number 11. I thought that was a funny gag. Appreciate that one. Donald Duck, number 55. Donald looking pretty tall there. And another Dell Giant, Donald Duck Beach Party, number 4. Got a little toy that you can make here on the back. Print that out on some cardboard. Have him balancing, falling around on his beach ball there. And a comic I didn't even know they had comics of, High and Lowest, the comic strip. This is part of the 4-color series, number 774. And here is a Duck album 1. This is 782. And good old Smokey the Bear. Fun cover with the raccoon pointing the way. 818, that one is. And 851, The Story of Mankind, a movie classic. And then we have one from Pines Comics. This is Heckle and Jekyll, number 28. And I'm just trying to pull it up here on Graham Comics database without closing the line stream again. And it looks like Heckle and Jekyll actually started out at St. John's Publishing. And then went to Pines. And they did continue the numbering, so this is this from Pines. It went from 1956 to 1959. And started with number 25, went to 34. This is number 28. Kind of hard to see the gag here, but he's filling this plunger with water, so it's basically going to be a big squirt camera. And then this looks like a little bit of scribbling up here, but it's actually a little Terry Tunes logo up here underneath the Pines logo. And then got a really bright colors on this old beat up Hopalong Cassidy cover. Part of that is, yeah, I laminated this one. A lot of times when I laminate it, it makes the colors really pop on the old cover. This one's actually from DC Comics. So I'll have to look that one up because I have Hopalong Cassidy down as being a Fawcett comic. Don't remember that he was in DC. So Hopalong Cassidy. Yep. So Hopalong Cassidy must have been one of the titles that DC got from Fawcett when they closed down, because it continues the numbering and everything. So 1953. Well, actually 1954. There's a little bit of a gap there. 1954 to 1959. And they started with issue 86 and went to number 135. So they ran it for quite a while. And this was 125. And a little dot from Harvey Comics. This one is quite beat and worn. I'm not sure if I can't tell if I laminated this one or not. It looks like it should be. I did. All right. All right, that's our first little dot. So I'm gonna have to look that one up as well. And little dot started with number 1 and went to 164. 1953 to 1976. And this is number 25, pretty early. And we've got another Marge's Little Lulu. This is 103. Looney Tunes, 185. This was owned by lots of people. Every member of the family wrote their name on that one, it looks like. And let's see, it's no longer being called Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies. Now it's Looney Tunes. So we are going to have to look this one up. See when that name changed. From 1955 to 1962, the Dell series ran under that name. It was, of course, previously Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies, and started with number 154, went until 246, and then at some point Gold Key rebooted with a new number one once Dell stopped making comics. Here's another one, 193. And this is Mickey Mouse, so we're going to stick Marge's little Lulu in there so it's in the right order. And Mickey Mouse. Number 52. Number 53. '56. Good boy, Pluto. And Nancy and Sluggo. That's definitely one I gotta look up. Don't know the publishing history of that one. Can't even tell who's publishing it with the sticker on there. Looks like it started at St. John's. And that's who this one is from, St. John Publishing. Uh, 1955 to 1957. And started with number 121, went to 145. This is 140. But before this, it continued the numbering from Sparkler Comics, from United Features. And then Dell got a hold of it after this series and kept the numbering starting with number 146. Walter Lantz, New Funnies. Wow, I actually have a lot of these. I didn't realize how many of these I had. Oh, 248. And gonna put these over here because the stack may be getting a little high. And we got another picnic party. Well, actually, let's put the stack over this way so it doesn't put a shadow on the rest of the books. Picnic party. This is number 8, and that's that whole series. So I have all 3 issues of Picnic Party, 6 through 8. Yay! That looks pretty elaborate. Apparently, you cut out their mouth bits and their eye bits, and then these line up with that, and you can change by shifting it. You can change their expressions from frowns to smiles or something. Quite elaborate. And here's a Porky Pig number 51. What's this? I have 2 copies. How does that happen? This one's got brighter colors, but it's got a big rip and stuff down here. Let me check this one. Probably means I had it in this. Well, no, that wouldn't be right either. I just have 2 copies. This one's got a 10 center over this up here, though. So let me see if that'll come off. I don't think so. It doesn't look like it's the right kind of ink to come off, fortunately. All right, so chances are that nobody wanted this one. Porky Pig's not that popular of a title. And this one's got the writing on it, and then this one's got the big rip down here. So could be that nobody wanted it. I will rip on the back too. This one presents much better without that writing on it. So, and then we got pencil up here, that'll come off. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the sale since I got 2 of them. And as you're watching this, it was probably in the sale last week. I think that's how my timing is, because this is a Monday show, and I haven't done this weekend's auction yet. So if that's something you want to get for $3 and it did not sell in the auction, just let me know. I'll add it to your pile. But it may sell in the auction on Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And there's number 53. Got another nice looking Roy Rogers book. A little beat up around the edges, but kind of an odd picture because it's all blurry except for Roy. You know, you got the other gunman up here that he's pointing the gun at, but and that's what, 115? I've got Roy Rogers only listed as going to 1955 and number 91. Let me go back to Grand Comics database. Maybe it just dropped the comics and became Roy Rogers, probably. Something like that. Let's see. Roy Rogers. It became Roy Rogers and Trigger. It says right there on the cover. Moron. All right, Roy Rogers. There was a Roy Rogers Trigger comic also. That's not this one. So, interesting. So they had Roy Rogers Comics 1948 to 1955, and they had Roy Rogers Trigger 1951 to 1955. So they combined them and became Roy Rogers and Trigger 1955 to 1961. And ran from issue 92 to up to 145. This is 115. And our first earliest Sad Sack comic, Sad Sack's Funny Friends. In this issue, Sadie Sack. Okay, oh, not my earliest issue. We had issue 49 of Sad Sack Comics. So I stand corrected. Already for looking at all these comics and all the comics I do every day, I already forgot what I wrote down. All right. I wonder how many Sad Sack titles there's been. There's quite a few of them. Sad Sack's Funny Friends went from 1955 to 1969 and had 75 issues. This is number 12. And we got a Superboy, number 54. Definitely been multiple volumes of Superboy. You got your Superboy, you got your new adventures of Superboy, you got the adventures of Superboy based on the TV show. You got Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. You got the modern day Superboy. You got Superboy starring in Adventure Comics. And probably a few I'm not thinking of. Alright, Superboy, come on. Come on, Grand Comics Database, you can do it. Started in 1949, went to 1977. He's been around for a while. 230 issues the first run. And this was number 54. And the cover title changed to Superboy and the Legion with 197. But its official title change didn't happen until issue number 231. And then they kicked him out of his own title because it became the Legion of Superheroes after that, right? So Superboy and the Legion went from 231 to 258 officially. And here's some Tom and Jerry, number 151. Way more Tom and Jerry's than I thought I had. Swag's gonna be like, "You've been holding out on me, Rob." Can hear him right now. Tweety and Sylvester. Haven't had those on here yet. And they had a few four colors, so they started with issue number 4. Went from 1954 to 1962. And numbers 4 to 37. And then when Gold Key got them, they rebooted with a number 1. So there's number 14 and number 15. And then we got some Walt Disney's Comics and Stories. 199. Number 205. And that's it. I'm going to move these Walter Lances over there because that's where they will belong in the scheme of things. And we got another Dell Giant Western Roundup. These are fun. Basically, just starring a lot of different Western stars in a giant size. So you got, in this one, you got Roy Rogers, Dale Evans, Range Rider, Rex Allen, Johnny Mac Brown, Buffalo Bill Jr. And what a great name for a title. Surprised that hasn't been used more. They actually had 25 issues of this. That's quite a while. 1952 to 1959. So it was more than an annual then. It was maybe a biannual or something. Started with number 1, so 1 to 25. This is number 20. Wow, that'd be a nice collection to have. 25 issues of that would be cool. And another Dell Giant, Woody Woodpecker's Back to School. Sorry, kids. And this one's number 6. The last issue of that series. And one more. We got another Zane Grey Stories of the West. Number 34, this one is. And then there should be 1 or 2 issues in the pile from that we're working on integrating. So we got Annie Oakley, Little Archie, and Mystery in Space. So we are going to quickly, if I can do it quickly, I'm going to close the list first of all so I don't accidentally lose anything. Get me back on camera and see that I'm off a little bit. But we'll go through the whole stack here. We got Zane Grey, Woody Woodpecker, Western Roundup, Walter Lantz New Funnies, Walt Disney Comics and Stories, Tweety and Sylvester, Tom and Jerry, Superboy, Sad Sacks Funny Friends, Roy Rogers and Trigger, Porky Pig, Picnic Party, Nancy and Sluggo, and then we're going to slip the Mystery in Space number 36 in there. Great cover. Mickey Mouse, Little Lulu, Looney Tunes, Little Dot, and time to slip that Little Archie in there. This is one of the covers I made when I was doing this one. I was running out of ink, so you can see the poor quality a little bit, but I used it anyway because I just didn't want to do it all over again. Got Hopalong Cassidy, and it's just for my collection. Just put something on there to protect the coverless comic. Jekyll and Jekyll, 4 colors. Donald Duck Beach Party, Donald Duck, Daffy, Christmas in Disneyland, and Annie Oakley goes on top. So that's it. 1957. Good stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the shows. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and consider joining the membership. I'll see you real soon.
The trumpet shout and the trombone glide. I found my crew on this crazy ride. Nurses' wounds wail like a midnight train. Thank you, super friends. You keep me sane. Oh, thank you, super friends. You've got my back through the twists and bends in a world that spins and never ends. Thank you, super friends. The drummer kicks with a thunderous beat. We march together, no retreat. The bass walks steady, the piano plays. You light my nights and brighten my days.